Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're setting the stage for a really deep dive into one of history's most famous, terrifying, and honestly, most fiercely debated legends. We're going to break down the myth, the math, and the human mind to figure out exactly what's going on out there in the Atlantic. So get ready, because we are unpacking the science and the secrets of the Bermuda Triangle.
We don't know which way is west. Man, just imagine hearing those frantic, disorienting words over a crackling radio. I mean, this wasn't some Hollywood script. This was the very real, absolutely terrifying final transmission from the squadron leader of Flight 19 back in 1945, right before 5 U.S. Navy planes just vanished. Poof! It's the ultimate hook for a mystery, right? It perfectly sets up that creepy suspense that's hung over this area for decades.
Okay, let's dive straight into this. Section 1. The Devil's Triangle.
So, to really understand the mystery, we've got to understand the map. We're talking about a massive chunk of open ocean, stretching between Florida, Puerto Rico, and Bermuda. It spans well over 500,000 square miles. For centuries, sailors would whisper about it, giving it these super cheerful nicknames like the Sea of Doom and the Graveyard of the Atlantic. But the modern myth, as we know it today, that actually started way more recently. Back in 1964, a writer named Vincent H. Gaddis published an article in Argosy magazine called The Deadly Bermuda Triangle. He took all these seemingly random, decades-old disappearances, stitched them together, and literally just like that, the legend spread like wildfire.
Moving on to Section 2, Flight 19 and the USS Cyclops.
These are the actual high-stakes vanishings that really cemented the area's legendary status. These are the stories that gave Vincent Gaddis his absolute best material. Let's look at the terrifying microstory of December 5th, 1945. Okay, so at 2:10 p.m., Flight 19, which was just a routine training mission of 5 planes, takes off from Florida. The weather is perfectly clear. But fast forward to 4:10 p.m. and things start going seriously wrong. The squadron leader reports that both his primary and backup compasses have completely failed. By 4:56 p.m., it's total confusion. The leader thinks they're over the Gulf of Mexico, ordering them east, but you can hear the other crew members desperately arguing they need to fly west. Then at 7:04 p.m., we get that final, chilling transmission we talked about earlier. 14 crew members vanished completely. And making it even more tragic, a search and rescue Mariner aircraft was sent out after them, and its 13 crew members vanished too. No bodies, no wreckage, just gone.
And then there's the number 306. I really want to boldly emphasize this number because it brilliantly illustrates the mind-boggling scale of these tragedies. In 1918, the USS Cyclops, which was literally one of the biggest and fastest ships in the entire U.S. Navy, departed for Brazil. It was carrying 11,000 tons of manganese and 306 people. After sending a completely routine departure message, it vanished. An entire ship of that unbelievable size just gone. So you have to ask yourself, how does a whole squadron of planes or a massive naval ship just disappear without a trace?
Well, let's get into Section 3, the scientific explanations.
Let's kick things off with agonic lines. Now, normally, true north and magnetic north are two completely distinct points. Navigators know this, and they easily adjust for it. But along agonic lines, true north and magnetic north align perfectly. Now, the really crucial thing to know here is that these lines actually shift over time. And for the last 200 to 300 years, that 0-degree line was sitting right smack in the middle of the Bermuda Triangle. This perfectly explains why early navigators, even Christopher Columbus all the way back in 1492, reported their compasses suddenly going crazy in these exact waters.
Then, you take that magnetic confusion and you mix it with severe weather. Geographically speaking, this specific spot experiences some of the highest rates of hurricanes and waterspouts anywhere in the world. Add to that the fact that sitting right beneath those beautiful, deep turquoise waters are vast areas of incredibly dangerous, super shallow hidden shoals. So for early ships that didn't have modern sonar, running aground during a sudden violent storm wasn't a paranormal event. It was a very real, very deadly scientific probability.
Now, what's really interesting about this next one is that it sounds straight out of a science fiction movie, but it's actually grounded in real oceanography. Methane hydrates. Basically, there are these massive fields of trapped methane gas resting on the ocean floor in certain parts of the world.
And here's exactly how this works. Step 1, an underwater mud volcano suddenly erupts, releasing a huge plume of methane bubbles. Step 2, as these bubbles rush up and fill the water column, the density of that surrounding water drops dramatically. Think about the Dead Sea analogy, right? The Dead Sea is absolutely packed with salt, which increases the water density and makes you effortlessly float. Well, this is the exact reverse. Methane drastically lowers the density, which means, step 3, if a ship happens to be sitting directly above this eruption, it suddenly completely loses its buoyancy and instantly sinks like a stone. No warning, no time to radio for help. Now, to be fair, there's no direct proof this specifically sank the famous ships in the Triangle, but the physics behind it are entirely real.
Which brings us to section 4, the frequency illusion.
Because what if the real culprit isn't shifting magnetic lines or giant methane bubbles? The real trick might just be the human mind itself. The absolutely crucial point here is understanding the Bader-Meinhof effect, also known as the frequency illusion. It's a cognitive bias. Think about it like this. Let's say you buy a brand new car. Actually, let's make it a very specific blue sedan. Suddenly, you start seeing that exact blue sedan literally everywhere you look. Now, the actual number of those cars on the road didn't suddenly multiply. Your brain just started selectively noticing them because, well, it's newly relevant to you.
And this perfectly illustrates how that bias applies to our topic. Because Vincent Gaddis and other writers completely hyped up the mystery of the Triangle. Every single time a ship or plane had even a minor issue there, it made global headlines. But when we compare this area to other oceans around the globe, incidents are usually just ignored by the press. I mean, ships and planes tragically vanish in heavy traffic areas all over the world. Just think of the terrible modern tragedy of the Malaysian Airlines flight, which happened nowhere near Bermuda. The frequency of disappearances isn't actually any higher in the Triangle. Our brains just unfairly focus our attention on it because we've been primed by the legend.
And that leads us to section 5, solving the mystery. To finally close the case on this legend once and for all, we really just need to look at the authoritative data. Take this definitive, point-blank quote from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA. I'll read it exactly as it's stated. There's no evidence that mysterious disappearances occur more frequently in the Bermuda Triangle than in any other large, well-traveled area of the ocean. I mean, that one sentence right there completely shatters the core myth.
And hey, it's definitely not just NOAA saying this. If we look at the official verdicts from the world's leading maritime organizations, the U.S. Coast Guard flat out does not even recognize the Bermuda Triangle as a specifically hazardous area. They rightly point out the massive volume of daily traffic going through there. And get this, a massive 2013 study by the WWF listing the world's 10 most dangerous bodies of water, the Bermuda Triangle literally didn't even make the list. And when journalist Larry Cush rigorously investigated the original stories, he found that the whole legend is largely based on fabricated stories, exaggerated details, and basically just mystery-mongering to sell magazines. The vanishings were simply a tragic product of incredibly heavy traffic colliding with severely bad weather.
Oh, and just to quickly tie up that very first historical loose end that sparked the whole myth centuries ago, that strange ball of fire that Christopher Columbus nervously reported falling into the ocean back in 1492, yeah, scientists have firmly concluded it wasn't aliens, it wasn't a sea monster, it was literally just a meteor burning up in the atmosphere.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, it's pretty clear that the Bermuda Triangle isn't some paranormal gateway. It's actually this fascinating intersection of shifting magnetic lines, extreme weather, shallow waters, and honestly, most importantly, human psychology. It really makes you wonder if one of the most famous, terrifying mysteries in the world is really just a product of our own cognitive bias, what other famous legends out there are just tricks of the mind. Really think about that. Well, I hope you found this breakdown as captivating as I did. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.